120 seconds. 110 seconds. 100 seconds. 90 seconds. 80 seconds. 70 seconds. 60 seconds. 50 seconds. 40 seconds. 30 seconds. 20 seconds. 10 seconds.
JC McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
My friends, once again, it is indeed time to get our talk on. This morning talk with me, your host, JC McCauley, along with the champions of talk. This morning's talk champion in the house with us, none other than the one and only Cleo Duke-Wright. Miss Cleo, how you doing?
I'm doing good this morning.
How was your week?
Oh, my week was busy.
Busy week?
Busy week, yes.
Do anything special this week?
I went to the convention, the first one I went to. I thought I had gone to one before, but I didn't. The Democratic Convention, I went to that one. And so I thought I knew what was going on, but I evidently I didn't know anything, but it was good. I thought it was going to last a long time, but it didn't. I mean, I brought food and everything. I thought we were going to go like into the night, you know. So I said, "Oh, I better bring some food," and so I brought food and oranges and fruit, you know, and things like that. And then it was bam, it was over. I said, "Wow." Oh, I had lots of ideas, but
yeah, the convention, the convention. It was very efficient. It went by very, very quickly. Very quickly. They've been known to go into the night, but
yeah, that's what they told me.
The word was out that this was not going to be an all-nighter.
Yes, that's what they told me, and you know, I went to when Senator Coleman was being reelected, I went to that one in Windsor, and that lasted a lot longer. So they told me this was going to be even longer. So I prepared myself. So
Well, it was
and it was very, very short.
very short. Well, it was short. Was well organized.
Not as many nominees. See, I thought everybody who was running for mayor
Would be up on the board.
would be up on the board, and then they would just sort of pick. But there was what? See, 46, 21, 46, 50. That's not enough votes. You know, delegates.
77.
77 delegates. So I'm just saying, you know. So after I realized it, there couldn't have been that many, and so.
Now, when you say 46-21, what are you?
The scores that they got, like Senator Coleman got 10 and
Oh yeah,
Bronze got 21 and the other guy got
Fonfera.
Oh, it's
Senator
Fonfera.
Fonfera. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Judge Coleman got 10 delegates,
Yes.
or 10 votes from the town committee. Senator John Fonfera got 21
I kept
votes
saying LeBron is
from
Fonfera.
the town committee, and then of course Arunan Aralumpalum got 46.
Yes, that's what I was trying to count in my head.
Right, so 46 and 1 is 47, plus 20 is 40, 50, 60. And then 10 makes 77. So 77 votes. There are 77 members of the Democratic Town Committee. And those 77 elected representatives among themselves vote for who they believe will best represent the interests of the party.
I didn't understand. Okay, Judge Coleman. He was a delegate too.
Judge Coleman is not a delegate.
Why he voted for something?
He was standing in as a proxy.
Oh.
So he's a proxy for someone who is a delegate.
Oh, I see.
So like town committee person Princina Holloway, she was unable to attend, so she had a proxy.
Right.
And her proxy was former council president Arjo Winch. So once they established who the proxies were, which was the beginning of the process, so the proxy for Princina Holloway is Arjo Winch. So when they call her name, she casts a vote for who she represented. Not necessarily her vote, but the vote of who she. Same thing with the Judge Coleman. And so Judge Coleman's vote, of course, was for Judge Coleman, but he was acting as a proxy. So he didn't vote for himself. He articulated the will and the wishes of the individual for whom he was sitting in as a proxy.
Yeah.
So proxy votes are counted for. So so 10 for Judge Coleman, 21 for John Fonfera, and 46 for Arunan Aralumpalum. So Arunan Aralumpalum is the party endorsed candidate to represent the Democratic Party in the city of Hartford. Now that will be challenged by several different individuals who believe that they would do a better job. So now they have to go out and get 1,800 signatures. So to be on the safe side, it's 1,800 and some change, but everybody better roll up in there with about 2,500 signatures. To be on the safe side. $3,000 would put you in a good space, but you need about 2,500 because a lot of the signatures will be ineligible because they won't be legible, or the people aren't registered. Thought they were, but they aren't. the address is not there, or some
yeah,
birth
see.
date's not there, or name isn't right, or the signature can't be recognized. So those signatures will be disqualified.
Yes, like I Willie wrote a signature, but signed a petition, but he didn't change his address at the registrar's office yet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be ineligible, right?
That will probably be ineligible because the registrar is not going to be trying to look up to see how many people didn't change their addresses, because there's 50,000 people potentially to pull from. So those are the rules of the party. They could be easier, but they aren't. I mean, the rules are the rules of the rules. Right. So the party has made its pick. Mayor Bronin yesterday endorsed the party pick. So the mayor has also endorsed Arunan Aralambolu. And so now there is a strong sense that he will be the
next mayor.
Well, not the next mayor, but he will be the one that represents the party in the general election in November. This is a primary.
Right. So there may be somebody else who wins the primary.
Oh, anyone else could win the primary. The primaries. The winner of the primary will be the person who got the most votes out.
Right, but Arunan will still be on a ticket, right?
The only thing he doesn't have to do is garner a slot on the ballot. The party's going to put him on the ballot.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyone else that wants to be on the ballot can be, but they have to get 5% of the party members to say, well, we'll stand behind this guy. He should be on the ballot so everyone can vote. So the way to get on the ballot is the party has to put you on the ballot. Members of the party have to put you on the ballot, but the members of the party have elected their town committee person to represent them. A lot of people don't understand how this works. So the town committee has 77 members. I think it might. Yeah, I think it's 77 members. It's been up to 80, 81, but I think there's 77 members currently right now. And so you need half plus one. You need a majority, simple majority. Half plus one is a majority. And those individuals who cast those votes are elected by the members of the party when they have town committee elections. So
actually the town committee elects them.
The town committee
votes for them.
Votes for who they believe will best represent the interests of the party. And the party has interests. And I put it that way on purpose because they don't necessarily.
The party and the people. I don't think they're the two things.
The party.
They're different.
The party.
Is that the same thing as the people?
No.
Okay.
Now there's fair room for debate and argument.
That's not the same thing.
But I don't believe that. I thus saith stand, not necessarily the truth. I don't believe that the interests of the people are necessarily reflected by the expressed will of the party, because the party has interests that are in conflict with the people many times. So let's say the party believe that the wizards of smart who make policy believe that a vibrant downtown is essential to a community's growth, a community like Hartford. So they will focus money and resources downtown.
But when that has not worked for the last 20-something years or 30 years that they've been trying to do that, then they still focus on that.
That's because that's what the party wants. Now, the people may say that's not working. So then the people need to express that by voting for representatives in the party that move that along. The people have not yet done that. That's why things stay the same. So that opportunity to do something will come September the 12th. when the people vote for who the party has picked, or reject that person and vote for another candidate that is petitioning to get on the ballot. So if Senator Coleman gets on the ballot, or Judge Coleman gets on the ballot, say Judge Coleman gets on the ballot on the B line, because the party line is line A. Mm-hmm. The B line might be Eric Coleman. The C line might be John Fonfara. The C line, let's say the C line is Tracy, Funny, and the A, B, C, D. The E line is Giselle Jacobs. Mm-hmm. Then people go in and they say, well, I want Giselle, or I want Eric, or I want John. If enough of those people get votes, then they may get more votes than the party's choice, and then there will be another upset. And those individuals will be on the ballot for the party. That doesn't mean that they can't run in the general election, but they have to petition their way onto the general election ballot.
Then they got to do another petition.
That petition needs to be done right now. All petitions for ballot need to be in by the 9th of August.
The 9th of August.
The 9th of August. You have until the 9th of August to get all signatures in.
Oh, my gosh.
4 o'clock p.m. on the 9th of August, you need your 2,500 signatures to be in. You need your signatures to be in for the general ballot change as well as the primary ballot change by the 9th. After that, it's too late. You could be a write-in, but it's extremely rare that a write-in candidate wins an election. It has happened in the past, but around the country, but it's very, very rare. You'd need a really engaged populist, constituency to have them go out and write the candidate's name in with a pencil or pen. There's usually a write-in candidate in every election. They might get 6 or 7 votes, but most certainly not 7,000 or 8,000. That would be monumental.
Wow. Okay. So we have August 8th is around the corner.
August the 8th is right around the corner. Yes, I think it's next week. Well, no, next week.
Week after next.
Week after next. Yeah.
Well.
So it's a little more than 10 days. A little more than 10 days. Yeah. So I think it's all very exciting. I love the process. It's exciting. But people they always have the government they deserve in this country because you get to vote. Unfortunately, a lot of people just are they're disconnected and disengaged. You go out and you knock on doors, and people, it's been very interesting going out knocking on doors because there's some people who are just simply telling you, I'm not. Nah, I don't do nothing political. I don't know nothing about it. I'm not involved in politics. Don't want to be. They don't understand that everything that they do is the result of a political decision. Everything that happens in their lives, whether they could park their car on the front lawn or not, whether they get a ticket if they're parked too far away from the curb, all these things are political decisions. What your kids eat in school for lunch, which streets get plowed first, whether or not sewage is coming in your basement, whether it'll be fixed, who will pay for it, you, the MDC, the city, the feds. All these things are decided. These are all political decisions made by people elected to office. And folk just don't seem to understand that. Mm-hmm.
Well, somebody's got to start thinking.
Right.
Someone's going to start thinking.
Right.
Because we're in a very scary time. Things are going topsy-turvy as far as I'm concerned with the violence, with everything going on. That and maybe it's the Trump thing that scares me. Well, oh my God,
it's interesting. That's interesting because a lot of people are afraid that President Trump will be reelected.
Oh my gosh!
But they don't elect the president, and that's the whole irony of it. No one in this, not a single constituent, elects a president. They elect their mayors, but they're more concerned about the president than Alexa. Be quiet. Thank you. She tell me who the mayor is at Hartford. Bless her heart.
That's right. We don't elect the president.
We don't elect the president. We have a vote that says who we would probably like to be president, and then the electors elect the president, just like the town committee moves forward and it's interesting because the same argument, I believe, that the same argument for direct elections of the president should be the same argument for direct elections of your mayor. There should be no town committee except to manage party business. But other than that, whoever wants to run, their name should be on the ballot, and then the general people should. But see, it's a party, and the party has rules, and the party together, this group of people, put forward who they believe, just like a union. Like you don't have representation, Connecticut's.
Those people are not connected to me. Those people that are making all these rules, what do they have to do with me?
Nothing.
So what I'm saying, they're making decisions on my life.
On your life, right?
And yet they wouldn't. I am not considered. I don't feel like I used to feel like I was when I said Democrat, I was very proud to say that. Mom's a Democrat. Dad, well, he's looking on. And so I became a Democrat, and I was very proud to become a Democrat. But now I just feel totally disconnected with party, because it just seems like these group of people are over here doing what they want with my life. And I don't like it. They're just doing whatever they want, and I am just such an unimportant thing in the whole scheme of things that I feel like, bad guy, good guy. I feel like here we are almost in a dictatorship where these people run us. I'm in the corral with the rest of the horses.
That's a great way to think about it. The horse don't get to decide. It's the people who manage the horses. Get that one over there. Yeah, we'll ride that horse.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I don't feel that they're connected to me at all. And so I tend not to like them because they don't like me. And they're not doing anything to make my life better in this, in my community, in my city, my state. It's all about them. It's all about this party talking to this party and this party doing this party, and that person got to do this or he won't get this, and if you want to get this, you got to do this. That's how I think of it in my head, and it shouldn't be that way. I don't think it should be that way. At least not as much as it is. Because you have crooked people. Oh, you have people, but you always got to take care of the masses in order for you to have a good, because if the masses get mad, you in trouble. So you got to have some kind of connection with the masses, and I don't think I think they totally disregard us completely.
Well, I think your analogy with the horses is pretty accurate because if the horses break loose, you're in trouble. But so you make sure you keep the horses
right.
corralled. But,
right, and that's how I feel. I feel like we're corralled.
Well, in some ways, one might suggest that we are. Stick and Stay. We'll be right back.
Hi,
My name's J. Stan McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
All right, my friends, welcome back. It's Morning Talk with me, your host, J. Sam McCauley, along with the champions of talk. By the way, that's Jay Hogarth in the background playing. You can get his music at jhogarth.com. And great, phenomenal music. This is his latest album. This is his latest work that you are hearing selections from in the background for our music. But right, we're going out. We're talking about the election results. I shouldn't say election results. About the nominating.
That is District 4.
You're in District 4.
They gave it to me at City Hall.
Okay, so District 4. So you're in the 4th District?
Yes.
That's interesting. I didn't know the 4th District went up that far. Wow. I'm in the 4th District.
You're in the 4th District?
Yeah. I thought you would be in the 1st District, but apparently not.
So downtown is the 4th District?
Downtown's the 4th District, but the 4th District extends way over into down Park Street, down into Frog Hollow a little bit, and it must cut over to where you're at. So you would be in the first district as well, I guess. I mean, in the 4th District. I have a map. I just don't have it with me in this room right here. But if your paperwork says you're in the 4th District, then you're in the 4th District.
Yes, that's what they said when I changed my address.
All right, that's cool. So we're in the 4th. That's not the chairman is in the 4th District.
Who?
Chairman Mark DeBella.
Oh really?
Yeah, I always think of the 4th District as being downtown.
Well,
but it extends. Now the 4th district used to go way up into actually downtown. I think was in the 5th district for a while, but they recut districts all the time to best serve the interests of the people who run things. They change the size of the corral from time to time.
direction. Who's the spokesperson for the district, the 4th district?
I don't know who the spokesperson is right now. The spokesperson on the sheet that I have was Arunan Arulampalum, but I don't know that he's the 4th district spokesperson. It's hard to be the 4th district It's hard to be the spokesperson where the chairman lives. The ultimate spokesperson for the party is the chairman. But each district has a person who kind of coordinates and becomes the de facto leader. So, you have the spokespeople are all each district. There's 6 districts: the 1st, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th, and the 7th. The 7th district has 2 spokespeople. They're co-spokespeople. I think they're the only one. Everyone else has a singular spokesperson. Yeah. But, each the districts are different, but then they make up the Democratic Town Committee. And the Town Committee represents the party and the members. See, people don't understand that their government is run by a party. So you have the Democratic Party, you have the Republican Party, Green Party, Labor Party, Working Families Party, Liberty Party, Freedom Party. There's no end of the parties. Liberty Party, the Hartford Party.
My God, but but all of those parties, some of them, most of them I've never even heard of.
Well, a lot of them you haven't heard of. There's a lot of minor parties. The big 2, of course, everyone's heard of, which is Republican and Democrat. And it's a lot like a restaurant. You don't get to choose what's being served. You get to choose from the menu what they're offering you. At the end of the day, it's still Betty's restaurant. Betty gets all of the profit from the restaurant. It doesn't really matter what you eat. And if you want something that's not on the menu, well, you have to go somewhere else. But good luck in a town that only has one restaurant. So you're going to eat here, you won't eat at all.
Yes.
Well, I'd like some chitlins. Well, we don't serve chitlins. Can I get a ham sandwich? We don't serve ham sandwich. We don't serve anything from the pork. No pork on the fork. See the name of the restaurant? No pork on the fork. What do you want? Do you have lamb? We have lamb kebabs. Well, I'd like a slice of leg. No, we don't do the leg of lamb, just the kebabs. What do you got for dessert? Chocolate pie. Well, do you have any ice cream? No. Would you think of adding chocolate ice cream to the menu? And we'll talk about it. My wife and I run the restaurant. I'm not sure if we don't like ice cream, so we're not going to serve you ice cream. So they get to make all the decisions at their restaurant. Well, same thing with the party. Now, the party bosses make the decisions. They kind of hand those decisions down. And they get buy-in. There's a difference between buy-in and you making a decision. So if you're making the decision, then the decision comes from the collective will of the people. But no matter what you do, there's always going to be someone who's not happy because what they want is not happening. So it is what it is. But the more that the more people that participate, the more likely the outcome will be something that everyone is pleased with. But it's up to the people to participate. You can't not participate and then be upset with what happens.
Not gonna win. People are too involved with their lives and survival.
Mm-hmm.
So many people are in survival mode.
In this town,
how are they gonna worry about who's elected
Mm-hmm.
when they're worrying about how they're going to pay the rent.
Right.
You know, and it's
And that's what makes Hartford the perfect town for carpetbaggers. Because think about it. The town's mayor, in theory, particularly a small town, Hartford is not a major metropolis. One could make the argument that the greater Hartford region is a metropolis, but the greater Hartford region doesn't have a metropolis mayor. All the towns in the region have their own mayors or first selectmen. Or town chairman or whatever. Manchester's got some really weird thing going on, but that's another subject. So each town has its own political leadership. Hartford is not, it's not New York or Boston. Mm-hmm. It's a small town. And it's small enough that most people know one another. But in Hartford, you could come to the town, not be from the town, and become the mayor. Because Hartford is such a poor city. The people in Hartford are so poor that they're not concerned and they're disconnected from the political realities. So they are just trying to make it to the end of the day. They're in survival mode.
right.
They're not worrying about who the mayor is. Stuff works. It just, they go about their business. The school is bad. The school is bad. They send their kids to bad schools. There's people that don't know how bad the school is until they go on some sort of for some odd reason they wind up at Rembrook Day or Loomis Chaffee Day, and then they go there and they say, "Oh my God, things here are so different at this school." Or they go to just Avon High, or Conard or West Hartford High. They go to a high school in another town and see, for the day, and then they realize, "Oh my God, our kids are way behind." You don't know that if you don't go somewhere else
And to find out, yes.
and have a frame of reference.
My son is about to take his daughter out of school in Florida because of they had just passed something saying that slaves, profited from slavery, did something for them.
Oh, there was a net sum gain for the slave. The slave had a better quality of life because of the slavery.
So my son is so livid. He says he has one daughter out of school, but he has one daughter still in school. He says, I will not just tell you the language that he used, but he says, they're not going to fill my daughter with these lies. You know, he said, I don't know what to do with it. I guess he's going to start looking for schools for his daughter. He didn't like the educational system in Florida anyway. And now they're going to tell him that, we had a gain from slavery. We gained from slavery.
Well, the Republicans are pretty much in charge of Florida political apparatus. There may be some Democrats in certain towns. It's not all one, but the dominant prevailing political will is that of the Republican Party, and so the pitfalls associated with party politics is not, because of one party or the other. It's because they are the fact that they are parties. The party determines what's in the best interest of everybody, and then they pass those things down. And either you get behind it or you get out.
That's right. And the immigrants, the people who were building the houses, when the governor said, this is just hearsay, so don't quote me, that we're gonna go to all of these companies, and we're going to see who's legal and who's not legal, and we're going to kick them out of the United States and blah, 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 blah. And the house, they left. They simply left, and so the building up of houses in Florida stopped because they left. They threatened him and they left. That's what, kind of what he was telling me on the phone. So there's a lot of things happening in Florida too.
Mm-hmm.
And the governor's going to run for president. That's what he's planning to run for president.
Of Florida?
Of Florida. Is
Yes.
he running for president?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
He's running on the Republican ticket. He's put his name in the hat. There'll be many people running for president on the Republican side. The Democrat side, of course, there's, the current president, Joe Biden, is not challenged by anyone. It's not likely that he will be unless something happens where he is forced to step down or say he's not going to run. Then there will be a flood of people. Just like in Hartford when the mayor said he wasn't running, the floodgates opened and, all kinds of people running for mayor. But the handoff has been made to Arunan Arulampalum. I call him Luke 2.0.
Luke 2.0.
2.0 because he's carrying the baton. It's a handoff. Nothing changed. If you look at what happened on Monday night, the same city council was reappointed, renominated, with the exception of one person, which of course is Nick, because Nick is running for mayor. Nick LeBron is running for mayor, so he's out. So they replaced him with Kelly Bilodeau from the 6th district. So the council hasn't changed. The treasurer is not changed.
Nothing has changed. I didn't stay for the.
So the only thing that's changed is the potential of a new mayor, because the old mayor wasn't running.
So you're saying, if Arunan gets in,
Nothing changes.
nothing will
change. It's nothing will change because there's no causality to initiate change. Change is on purpose. Change is on purpose. Change is intentional. So there's nothing to initiate a change because the current person getting ready to go into office is quite happy with the way things are. The city council is clearly happy with the way things are. Otherwise, it would be different already. So I would suggest there's a special interest, which would be the mayor. The mayor will still be the mayor. He now has a rubber stamp candidate, like a rubber stamp council. So if you had a council that just rubber stamped everything you did, and you're not going to be there, you need someone who you can.
What do you care? You're leaving.
He's not leaving. He's not going to be in office.
He's not leaving?
The powers that run things are not the people who you see. They're people who are behind the people.
Yes, I know.
So the new face of the city is going to be, in theory, what they would like to do is continue the things that are going on. They want to continue the downtown construction, the downtown vision, all of the things that are currently in play. They don't want there to be any interruption.
And any other mayor would interrupt it.
Any other mayor would interrupt what's going on.
Except Arunan.
Yes.
And Arunan works for the MDC. Does he?
He does not necessarily work for the MDC, but he is in line with what the MDC is doing.
Oh.
He not said anything openly about the flooding in the sewage. And he also wants to he wants to close the airport. As far as I'm concerned, he wants to close the airport until he says otherwise. He's trying to be vague and neutral, but you can't be vague and neutral in something as big as that.
What was Bridget saying? I heard it, a little bit of it. She was really blasting Phyllis. I think she was really blasting the 7th district.
She's very from what I can see, she is not happy with the fact that the 7th district was totally behind Arunin, considering the amount of sewage overflow and flooding that affects the 7th district. And people impacted by it still voted for someone who is not necessarily, he clearly is not in favor of the sewage overflows, but did not advocate to have the sewers, did not advocate to have that fixed, and was a vocal opponent of the legislation that was put forth to resolve the issue. And so the number one issue facing North Hartford is the sewage and the flooding that happens as a result of torrential downpours where sewage backs up into people's houses. No one can do anything about the flooding, but you can do something about sewage coming into your house. And that's going to be a growing problem that needs to be addressed long term and short term. In the short term, you have to do something about that, and not to mention the issues with the dikes and the flood control system. There's so many systems in Hartford that are on the verge of collapse that people have. They have no idea, because you're presented the pig with the lipstick. So you put enough lipstick on the pig, before long the pig starts looking good. But that is not the case. Things are not as rosy as they would appear, because you have a good, accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, and don't mess around with Mr. In Between. Right. You know the song. That was a Doris Day song. I think. Yeah. Right. Accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative.
And don't mess with Mr. In Between.
Yeah.
Something
that was a popular song.
Yes.
So, if the Titanic is sinking, we're not going to talk about that. We'll accentuate the fact that there's great music playing up on the deck. I mean, they're playing their hearts out like they've never played before.
You say that
it's just a great time. Come on up to the deck. Well, the ship is sinking. No. We don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about
is there something sinking? Because all we're talking about on MSNBC is Trump. And is there? And my son made a statement yesterday. He said, while we're looking at all this stuff, what's really happening?
Right.
in the world? What's really happening? Why they want us to watch this one show after the other? They're all saying the same thing. What's going on?
Meanwhile,
what's going on?
Right.
Really,
Meanwhile, on the international scene, you've got China and Taiwan. You've got North Korea. You've got a little thing called the war in the Ukraine, between the Ukraine and Russia. You've got Russians amping up their attack.
They're not even saying anything about the Ukraine anymore.
No, but they're giving the Ukraine billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars so that they can fight a war. You're arming them while at the same time saying we need to disarm American streets. But you're arming the streets of Ukraine. Tens and tens of thousands of people are being killed that you're not hearing about. And it's horrible. And the Ukraine is the quote unquote bread basket of the world. So while there's fighting there's no growth. And then this, of course, leads to famine. Water supplies are being destroyed. I mean, there's so many things going on that people are just not paying attention to because they're caught up in all of the distractions and the good. It's like Rome is burning, but people don't care.
Right. You look at this day, night after night after night, and that's what I come up, I said, well, what's really going on in the world? Is the Ukraine war, is that still going on?
Oh yeah, very much
Yeah.
so. They want to be admitted to NATO, and you know, the corruption at almost every level of government is just off the chain like never before.
In the Ukraine, all of these people dying, is, you are saying one side is killing another side. You're not saying
Well, both
one
sides
sides are killing within their own country. You see what I'm saying? This is a war, not a war against its own people, because it's billions and billions of dollars. Then comes corruption. Say, okay, so the Ukrainians are doing the right thing, or what we expect them to do with the money that is sent to them. That's what I'm trying to say. Is it clear what I'm trying to say?
I think so.
That
The money is being
They're
sent
not-
to them to help them defend themselves from the Russians, who, for whatever reason, see the Ukraine as a threat that needs to be neutralized through force. And it's varied. But their rationale is in conflict with ours. So we are helping the Ukrainians sustain a war that they otherwise would have lost. And the war would be over. So instead, people fight. You know, one thing about an armed conflict is someone loses quickly, and then it's over. But you can make a lot of money selling weapons and arms. As long as people fight, there's money to be made. And the conflict goes on. We profit off of conflict. So anytime there's a war, there's generally money to be made. So you have a war on drugs, a war on poverty, a war on whatever. So a war on educational disparities. So money is going to be coming out, and a lot of people are going to make money as they, in theory, fight for all these things. Meanwhile, the regular people are dying. Folks are getting blown up while these knuckleheads at the top, in their egos and greed, haggle over who's going to make money, or I'm not going to let him get one up on me. Meanwhile, your people are being slaughtered by the tens of thousands. And if you bring it down to a more local level, while people are, you know, trying to get personal gains or move their personal agendas forward, the regular people suffer. And it doesn't seem like they care. They don't even try to pretend to help the people who are suffering. And it's very it's angering. I mean, it's frustrating, but it's very angering too, to see people being played. And because they are so gripped in poverty, they don't see it. They just suffer from it. And as long as someone comes and gives them a bone or gives them a little of this, a little of that, they're content, because they're just trying to make it to the end of the week. And that's very sad. And that's what makes Harvard the perfect town to be picked piece by piece by piece by piece by piece for personal gain, because it's a perfect town for carpetbaggers. And of late, we have carpetbaggers rolling up in here exploiting the people. And until the people wake up, it'll continue. And it's not likely that the people will wake up anytime soon, which makes it the perfect time for
something really has to happen.
Yeah.
To get them moving.
By the time the ultimate happens, it'll be too late, because they'll be moving them out on buses soon.
Or this fantastic leader that, appears could help, could lead the people out of this. Like Malcolm. Like Malcolm X.
Right. But you see what happened to Malcolm.
Yeah, you see what happened to Malcolm. But it's a different day.
It is a different day.
It's a different day,
Mm-hmm.
and it may not happen today, like it happened to Malcolm.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he was a sitting duck, but he didn't stop.
Mm-hmm. Well, you still need that. Otherwise, it's it's like taking the brake off your car. You need the brake. Someone wants to put in a second gas pedal, take the brake out. We don't need a brake. No, you need a brake. So, individuals that do stand up are necessary to keep the system from going totally over. Because once those people go away, we're in trouble. In big trouble. You need people to stand up against the powers, quote unquote, I guess, that be. But we'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Listen to a little J. Hogarth on vibraphone.
Hi,
My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Van Gelder Studios. Historic recording studio in the jazz world. Historic studio. It's an honor to have been inside that facility. In the same space as the greatest jazz artists on the planet. Because this is where all the jazz greats recorded in that studio. And you're in the same space that they were in. Standing in the same recording booth that they were in. For years, you couldn't bring a camera in there. No recording device, no video, no photos, nothing. You couldn't bring it inside the studio because of the way the studio is designed and the techniques that the
acoustics.
Yeah, so that you wouldn't know what his recording secret was. And so I had the esteemed pleasure of being able to record Jay and his group in there. We only show you, I think, there's only like 4 songs that we use here, but there's 12 of them. There's video for 12 different songs.
I don't know how many is on that.
But there's even more on the album. I think there's I want to say there's 16 tracks on the album.
It always ends too soon.
It always ends too soon. But
when I'm driving, it always ends too soon.
Yeah, and pull your mic up.
Oh.
Yeah. So, any plans for the weekend?
Well, not really.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to help the people at the church. We opened a clothing. What do you call a clothing place where people come every Saturday and what do you call them?
I know there's a food pantry, but I don't know what you call the clothing. There's a term for that.
We got some wonderful things there, and it's always packed every morning. It's just a little space. And so we make a little bit of money every week for the church, and so that's wonderful. So I'm gonna go there tomorrow morning and kind of help them out.
So you're enjoying you're enjoying your church family.
Oh, I enjoy them. Yes, I enjoy them very much.
Mm-hmm.
I could be me without any. I could be me. Oh. What a pleasure that is.
That's the greatest thing in the world, to be your authentic self.
Yeah. So, every once in a while I'm the liturgist, I'm on that committee, and it's just nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to play act. I don't have to be anybody in particular. I could just be Cleo.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you don't know who you are till you get to somewhere where you could be yourself. You're always kind of performing, but not here. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot.
That's a pretty deep concept. Have you found yourself? Do you know you yet?
I think a lot of people do. We look outside so much that we never look inside. So we're always trying to be something.
Mm-hmm.
I can talk for myself. I was always trying to be something. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. I'm going to change this. I'm going to change that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I don't like this. I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You have to smile because I always say this. Who you were at 7, that's who you are today.
Mm.
Who you were then, that's who you are today.
Mm-hmm.
All those changes and what you were trying to be and change yourself over. I'm still Cleo.
Mm-hmm.
Still the same silly little person who loved silly things and who liked to play and tell stories. I'm still the same person, and I think that's amazing. That you end up being the same person you were when you were, and all those things I thought about at 7, they were real. You don't think they're real. You're just playing, but they actually were real, and I actually was that person, am that person, and I don't particularly care who likes it or dislikes it, or hey, what can I do? I spent more than half a century trying to change it, and it's still the same. So it is what it is. It is what it is. So I'm comfortable. I'm getting comfortable with that, and I'm getting comfortable with people not agreeing. Now, what I have to do now is have patience and stop yelling. I yell a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do. I yell a lot. I raise my voice a lot. And now I'm trying to stop doing that. I said, what are you doing that for? It doesn't even make any sense. But I do. I get excited and I yell a lot. And so I'm trying not to. Only my family knows that. But I yell a lot. My son says, you're doing it again. You're doing it again. Why are you so loud? And then he imitates me, and we both crack up because it's so ridiculous that when he starts imitating me, I bought him these socks. He has a 15 foot.
Size 15.
Size 15 foot, okay? I'm looking all over because he doesn't change his socks enough. He got to change them socks. So I get a little loud about that. So I go to the store and I try to and I saw these socks. It said 14 and a half. I said, they'll fit him. So I take him home and I said, put these socks on. Take those things off and put these on. And he looks at them and he says, this is not going to fit me. They're not going to fit me. They're too small. And I wear them now because they are too small. But so I said, put those socks on. And he said, but I can't put them on. They won't fit over my ankle. I said, put them because I spent all that time trying to find them. I said, put them socks.
Could make the socks fit. Cut the toes off.
So he couldn't put the socks on. So I took the socks and I stretched as much as I could, and I put them over his foot. And then he has a very sore foot from when he broke his ankle. It's still sore. He's still limping. And I took this off and I push it out and I pull it up like that. And then I took the other foot and I said, see, they fit. Well, when I looked at the socks like the other day, his foot got all swollen up. One of his, there was no circulation. So I said, take those socks off.
So you're making him wear these socks and they're too small.
Too small. But then, see, I won't give up. He says, would you just stop? But I keep thinking, my son is suffering. And he said, would you please stop? I said, no, I have to find some socks for you. So I went online and I did find some diabetic socks. And they were big enough and they fit on his feet comfortably. So we had to kind of scrape those other socks off his feet. And, so I do stupid, and I get loud and I'm saying, I want you to do this. I want you to wear this. I want it to be okay. It's okay, isn't it? He says, oh, please. He says, oh, my God. So I'm trying to stop, to accept and stop. Because when I think my children are suffering, so somebody I care about is suffering, and this is where my biggest problem, I'm always trying to fix it. I'm going to solve this problem. I'm going to solve your sock problem. I'm going to solve this problem. And it's way, and my son is much too old for me to be carrying on like that. So I'm going to I'm trying to be calm. And so I read through I read through the fruits of the spirit. Maybe about 4 or 5.
Long suffering, charitable.
About maybe 3 times a week. But the 2 things that I haven't, kind of, is patience and self-control. The 2 things that are the hardest to do to me on the fruits of the spirit is patience and self-control. So
Patience.
I'm really working on doing that.
Well, patience has a prize. The grand narrative, the life-changing, life-giving, everlasting word of the Most High God, the Bible, it says, let patience have her perfect work, that you may be complete and entire, lacking nothing. So, I always explain to people, if you allow patience to finish, there's a prize. It's like a cake.
Yes.
Leave the oven closed.
Yes.
And don't interrupt the process, or the cake won't be right.
Right. And that's true. You're not privy to all the process. You're beginning the struggle, but you're not patient through the struggle till the conclusion,
right?
And the prize,
right?
And see, I mess it up.
You're a cake being baked. Give the baker time to finish, so that when you come out of the oven, you're done. Otherwise, we have to start the process all over again from the beginning. So just be patient,
Yes.
But it's very hard until you learn patience, or unless you have it as a gift. Patience now, all of them can be gifts. If they're not, then you have to learn them, and they're very difficult.
They're very difficult to learn. I keep them in my bag, and then I also carry the what is not of the spirit, the human desires, and
works of the flesh.
Yes, and
yeah.
I'm saying, oh my gosh, the
battle, the war.
Yes, the envy, the jealousy, the this, the that. I don't think I'm really envious or jealous of too many people, or maybe not. I don't, but I can remember being that way.
Well, you might not be around you may not be around certain things. It's like you can't suffer from the ill effects of something you are not around. So, it's sort of like you don't have to worry about the temptation of being bribed if you're not ever bribed.
Right.
But when the opportunity to be bribed comes, now it's a different story. What are you talking? Where's $100,000 on the table?
Yep.
$100,000. $100,000. It's different. See, it's different once the temptation is there. And so the trying of your faith worketh patience. Let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be complete and entire, lacking nothing. But the patience comes while your faith is being tried. So the trying of your faith worketh patience. So, a lot of times people they're not put in a position where their faith is even tried. But then once that process starts, then it becomes real.
Yes.
It becomes very real. Well, I don't think that's going to work. Well, have a little faith and some patience. Well, I have faith, but it's starting to wear out.
The thing is, you got to keep that faith up. You got to keep that faith up. You can't put it to the side. You got to keep it up no matter what you think and no matter what anybody else thinks.
Now, the arms. Whose arms had to be held up in the Old Testament?
Whose arms had to be
held up?
Held up.
Yeah, there's a prophet or somebody who was praying, but there was the people that were holding his hands up. I can never remember who that is.
I don't know. And they held his hands up.
Yeah.
Now I gotta go see.
Yeah. I should do a search
of who that was.
The prophet whose hands needed. Let's see if the artificial intelligence works. Alexa, set the volume to 8. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 9:37 a.m.
Let's see how smart she is on Bible trivia. Alexa, what is the name of the prophet whose arms need to be held up?
From OrthodoxChurchQuotes.com. Moses, who held his arms raised in the form of a cross during the battle, gave victory to the Israelites over the Amalekites.
Moses?
I don't think it was Moses.
No, I don't.
I need an Old Testament Bible expert. I do know someone I could call. See, this is one of those things that you do. Now you want the answer.
Now you want that whose hands?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever known.
Let me call and find out. See, my golden rule is if you're ignorant, you will remain ignorant until you get an answer. So,
right.
Ask somebody that knows. A question. Old Testament trivia. An Old Testament question. The prophet whose arms needed to be held up because he was praying and he was getting tired, and if his arms were let down, so they had to. That was Moses. Joshua and Aaron. That's who I'm trying to think. Okay. I knew you would know.
Joshua.
All right. Bye.
Joshua?
Yeah. Joshua and Aaron held Moses' arms up. It was Moses.
It was Moses.
Right. But the Joshua and Aaron had to hold up Moses' arms. Because it was Moses who had to do this. But even Moses, your arms get tired. You get tired. So you need the people to help you. So perhaps you're the one that needs to be victorious. But you can't be victorious all by yourself. You need the help of other people.
To hold you up.
So they were holding up his arms.
There was, when I was coming up, is stand on your own 2 feet, pull yourself up by your bootstrap. You could do it alone.
Right.
And so I always thought you could do it alone. If you had enough, you could do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes to realize that you really can't do very much totally alone.
Right.
You need other people, and the world wasn't built. God didn't build the world for you to do things alone.
Actually, the answers were right here on the screen. I wasn't looking at my screen. Sister Nunez said, "I can't understand fruit of the spirit, long suffering." Then she said Moses. Daryl Fitzgerald said Moses.
Daryl.
Yeah, Moses. Moses!
You didn't even stand. What did you look?
Moses! The hand, like at the back of the class. I got the answer. Does anyone have the answer? Me. Mrs. Lumpkin. It's me. It's me. Put your hand down, Johnny. Yeah. So it was incumbent upon Moses
I
to be the
remember.
one.
Yeah.
I knew. I was trying to think of Joshua and Aaron. I knew what Joshua, but I couldn't think of. So Joshua and Aaron were holding Moses' arms up, and he's the one who had to hold up his hands and pray.
And they helped him do that.
And so they helped him. They can't do it for him. See, there's certain things that you're called to do. There's certain things you're called to do that only you can do. But you need help. And if the person who's doing the work won't receive the help, then all perish. But if the person that does the work is willing to do the work, he doesn't have anyone to help him, we all perish, you know.
Yes.
The harvest is ripe. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. And so, you know, when it's harvest time, that means everything is ready. You have to pick the fruit while the harvest is. Otherwise, it'll rot on the vine. So the window is very, very narrow. And so sometimes you just need help, you know. And they get tired, but you just press your way through, you know, and the victory is yours. So let patience have her perfect work, that you may be complete and entire, lacking nothing. Because the Old English says want, but the wanting nothing is to be in lack. So the Old English word for want is lack. So lacking nothing. You will be lacking nothing if you just let patience
be your guide.
Be your guide and have, just be patient. Yeah.
Well, they come together, patience and self-control.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of, they're kind of together. Although they have patience as I always go in order. You know, they have patience.
It builds on
number 4.
Yeah.
And they have self-control. Number 9, the last. Have patience, and then it's kindness and goodness and faithfulness and gentleness, and then there's self-control. So I and self-control comes last after. I guess after you have all the others, because that's a hard thing to do too. Self-control.
Yeah.
But the people who run the city, the people who are at the top, they have a lot of self-control.
Well, they have self-control, and they have patience.
And they have patience. They have those two things. I don't know if they have all the other stuff, but they have patience and they have control. And no matter what you do, like you said, they're going to keep their eye on the ball. They're going to keep their eye on their objective. No matter what you do, they're going to be patient. No matter what interrupts them, they're going to be patient. They're going to go for that. No matter how you think they're losing and you thought, all right, we won this battle, they're still going to go straight for that. I tell my son, don't think they've given up, because they're still going straight for their goal. Straight for their goal. They're patient and they have a lot of self-control. And they'll take all your guff. They'll take all your parading in the streets. They'll take all of that. There's not going to change now one thing. They're still going to have. They're still still going to have that eye on the ball, and they're not going to change it. We are not planners like that. You know.
We need to be, and we should be.
We're not playing, we go from battle to battle, and we think we won the war, and we ain't won the war. Because we thought we won the war in the 60s. It was just a battle. We didn't keep our eye on that ball. Because, what they want. And they'll keep on going for it to the end. And that's what we need to do.
Yeah. Their objective is ever present. The motivation may not be the same, but the objective is. The second most patient person would be Lucifer. Now, God's not a person. Of course, God's patience is never ending, motivated by his love. But Lucifer is extremely patient. And he's extremely smart. His motivations are wrong, though.
And extremely pleasing to the eye and the ear.
Oh, my goodness.
So don't think he's ugly with horns.
No, he's not ugly. He's not horned, and he's not red-skinned. He
isn't. He's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's gorgeous.
Yeah. So always be careful of the smile.
Oh.
Always be careful of the smile. Yeah, he's the king of bamboozle. Bamboozle and the flim flam. Be careful, my friends. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful.
And he's
be careful.
gentle to the ear.
Oh,
so
yes.
he could just talk you almost out of anything. You better know where your mind is when he comes along. Yes.
All right, well, the battle continues on, my friends. Onward we press toward the mark of the high calling. Victory is ours if we stay steadfast and press our way. Hello there to Daryl Fitzgerald, Pamela Wright, Sister Nunez this morning tuning in, as well as the rest of you all out there. So, Miss Cleo, you're going to have a great weekend, right?
I'm gonna have a great weekend.
All right, you all out there have a great rest of your day. Enjoy Jay Hogarth as we go out. And remember, we will see you here next time, and do something fun and for yourselves, and enjoy the music as we go out. This is Toe Dance for a Baby. That's the name of the song. Toe Dance for a Baby. I like this song. It's very light-hearted and uplifting. Reminds me of the Sesame Street kind of feel. Very, very, very light-hearted, uplifting. All right, we'll see you soon. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Ciao, ciao.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. We are here to discuss a very important topic. I'm going to bring up a few speakers to address the issue of citywide adult literacy, a plan that you'll hear from mayoral candidate Stan McCauley talk more about this morning. But before Stan comes to the mic, we have some community voices that we are also going to hear from this morning. So I want to bring up Gwyneth Douglas to say a few words on the topic of adult literacy.
Good morning, everyone. This is such a glorious and historical day, and I am so honored to be a part of it. And I have a few words that I would like to say before our elect mayor, pre-elect mayor, Stan McCauley, comes forth. And it's on the literacy program. What I'd like to talk about is I agree totally on the decline and the hardships, the troubles that our city, our nation capital, faces on a daily basis, especially to people who are come to this country, who are from other places and do not understand the dialect, the language. There are language barriers. I am an educator. I'm an educator in the school system, retired, and I'm also an educator and also group homes and ministries. So we come together to partner with him. But what I wanted to say really quickly is that whatever we can do to stop this type, I call it a parasite, an educational reading literacy parasite. Why? Because as I did my research, I found out we have all these wonderful programs, so we say, that are building up. But if we don't build up this economy the way that we're supposed to, it's good to look nice on paper, but we all must join hands and pull it in just a little harder, just a little closer. For instance, starting from ages 4 to 12 years old, there are 5 or several different programs that they attest that work for Connecticut. You have the Reading in 100. You have the one that's called the Eggs reading program. You have so many different programs. They even have the ESL, which is English as a secondary language for children who coming from a country into ours. Why aren't these programs effective? Where is the breakdown? Now, we all know that it starts from in the home and out. But I heard when I was just a little girl at Arsenal School that it takes a village. I am a native of Connecticut, a native of Hartford, Connecticut. I attended the Arsenal School. And if it was being said back then that it takes a village, then we must. I stand with Stan McCauley. I almost called him doctor. I stand with his wife because I don't split staff. I stand with his children. I stand here on the steps of City Hall to let everyone know and let the voice be heard. I am standing with McCauley. Why? Because one hand reaches one, catches one, love one. What we need now is just not love, sweet love, but we need real love. Real love for education and reading the right way. So let us put our foot, a pedal to the metal, and let's get this done. God bless you. I thank you, and have a great day.
Adult literacy is a root cause issue facing many adults in the city of Hartford. Adults that I would say have been failed twice. They've been failed first by the educational system and a lack of resources, but then they find themselves failed again in a city that doesn't support them adequately to give them what they need in order to attain jobs, to participate in our democracy. So this is may not be a splashy campaign issue. Some may not find it to be the top issue, but it is a root cause issue. And oftentimes, it's referred to as a silent crisis because we don't want to speak to it. We don't want to address it in a way that political winds may change and come forward. But here's an issue that would impact so many lives in the city. It is an issue that Stan has heard, being so close and tethered to the voices of the community. It is an issue he has heard time and time again. So, without further ado, I want to bring Stan forward to address his citywide adult literacy plan.
All right, we're here today to talk about this growing crisis that has been here for some time. It's like under the current, if you will. And you hear people talk about economic development. You hear people talking about jobs in the community. But the fact of the matter is, depending upon the statistics, 41 to 61% of the citizens in Hartford, adults, men and women, are functionally illiterate. Now you may ask yourself, well, what does functionally illiterate mean? Well, think of it in terms of an ATM machine. That means that 61% of the adults in this city can't read an ATM machine. And I want you to understand the impact of that. It impacts parents when it comes to attending their children's schools and getting parent involvement. If the parents feel intimidated, which the schools too often intimidate parents that want to be actively engaged in their children's education, and they wonder why they can't get parents to come in and participate. But it goes even deeper than that. One of the things that really plagues the city of Hartford is the political apathy. Now think about this. If you can't read an ATM machine, you also can't read about your candidates. You can't read about their platforms. You can't read about their programs. You can't do the research. So you wind up hearing what people say, and it becomes a he said, she said, instead of being engaged and informed. So my administration wants to put forth effort to help bridge this gap, close what we're calling the literacy gap. We're making it our 6th priority in our path to impact. And when I talk about path to impact, I'm talking about how does the action impact the intended individual. You're talking about education, you're talking about giving teachers a raise. Well, how does that raise impact the student? We know there's a direct impact for the teacher and for the teacher's family, but what's the impact on the student? All too often our students are left behind. And when they're left behind, they wind up being, hopefully at the 3rd grade reading level. That's where they plan the future for prisons to be built. Well, we see the impact of a failed education system in the adults who attended that education system not being able to read. So this becomes very, very critical. So we are challenging the adults in this city that are English speakers to become functionally literate. Now, I'm one of those people that believe in leading by example. Now, I am functionally literate when it comes to English. I can read, I can write. But you know what I'm totally illiterate in? The dominant language of the city, Spanish. Now, we live in a city where the dominant language is Spanish, and the people that are running for office aren't fluent in that language. So I'm putting forth the challenge that I'm going to learn Spanish. I'm going to become conversationally literate in Spanish. I'm going to, in the next 4 years, learn how to speak the dominant language. So if I can learn a language I don't know, I know that our English-speaking people can become functionally literate in the language that is their primary language. All right? Hartford should be a dual language city. So we're calling this the Dual Language City Challenge. There are 76 different ethnic groups in this city. This is an international city. And it should be reflected by the languages that you have here and the cultural diversity that you have here. And so when we talk about economic development, understand that economic development can't happen until you have human development, and human development can't happen until you can read and write the primary language. And we can't have cultural diversity and understanding if we don't understand one another and respect the cultural differences that we have here in Hartford. So part of what we want to do in the McCauley administration is open up our schools, unlock those resources so that they are open after school. They should be open from sun up to sundown, from 8 to 8. Our schools should be open. They should become the primary community centers. Parks and recreation should be in every single school. And when school ends for the students, it should begin for the adults. And so we're going to be putting learning centers where adults can become functionally literate in this city. So that's the challenge. We're going to challenge you to go to our website, McCauleyforMayor.com. Click on the path to impact and find out all there is to know about our complete 6-point plan to realign Hartford's priorities, and more importantly, our 6th priority, which we're introducing today, to close the literacy gap in the city of Hartford.
We won't keep you long, but we do want to bring one other voice to you this morning. An honored elder, I would say, a community voice that has been challenging the systems, fighting for the people, and recognizing the gaps in the underserved. Cacique.
All right, family, peace. It's really good to be here today. I think it's, for me, it's a special day because what I would ask the people that are listening to us today is, when was the last time one of these politicians ever came to you with an issue with conscience? You can't recall that because they don't. So I'm happy that Stan has taken on this humongous task to bring, people right where they need to be, because as I understand it, the system a lot of times keeps us in that survival mode. And when you're in the surviving mode, you can't move to the next level, which is the thriving mode. When you're surviving, you can't thrive. So I think that Stan and Gwen said a lot of important things today. And one of the things that I would say is that if you can't read your children's report card. You can't help them with their homework. You can't read information about your health. So the reason that I asked that question in the beginning is because this is an issue that is plaguing our community, and you haven't heard anyone, including the superintendent, talk about literacy and what they're doing to bring it up, not just for our kids to bring them where they're supposed to be at, but for the adults in this city. So Stan, once again, brother, you hit the nail on the head. That is a super important issue that's going to change the way that we live. The way that people live is going to raise their access to different jobs, better jobs. You can get your license now. If you can't read, you can get your license. So it's a lot of things that literacy covers, and I want to thank you for that. And I hope that I just want to say one more thing. Stan's van is coming to Wyndham Street on Thursday at 6:30. It's for that neighborhood, but anybody in the city of Hartford is welcome to come. It's going to be on Wyndham Street, July 11th at 6:30, and all are welcome. Thank you so much. Peace.
Every bad political decision is made by a politician elected to office. So if you think your vote doesn't matter, just remember this. There are people sitting with politicians in a back room making deals about your future, making policies about your children, making decisions about your neighborhood. To them, you are just a vote. You are not their cause. You are just a vote. Elections have consequences, and if you don't vote, you are actually voting to keep these people in power to work against you. Now more than ever, you need to make your vote count. It's time to clear the air and vote for a mayor that is unbought, unbossed, trusted, and accountable to you, the constituent. My name is J. Stan McCauley, and I am an independent thinker, and I approve this message. I'm asking you for your vote on Tuesday, September the 12th, 2023, in the Democratic Party primary election for mayor of the city of Hartford. For more information, visit McCauleyformayor.com. Have the courage to vote your conscience and vote for the name you trust and know. Vote J. Stan McCauley for mayor. All right, so Wyndham Street, July the 13th. The mobile campaign office will be at Wyndham Street. 12 Wyndham Street. And also, if you're not doing anything, you want to join us for our virtual town hall. That'll be this Friday at 6 o'clock. There it is. This Friday at 6 o'clock. It's a virtual town hall. You can check out our website for more information. Thank you very much for joining us.